Alright, it is February the 11th, 9:51. Markets gapped down about 1.5% today, specifically the ES and YM on some global growth stuff. The usual slowing global growth story, which has been coming up for the past, couple of years. So markets gapped down today, but it looks like it's found sort of a bottom. Like I see some buyers stepping in here now, as we see an evidence of some higher lows. And looking to get long the XIV, the S&P is looking pretty good at this point, and I want to actually try to express a trade here on the XIV, which is lining up pretty quickly here. So I need to get ready for order entry mode here. So give me 1 second while I prepare my entry. I like this action here. Again, as I just mentioned, we have some higher lows being formed here. ES is supporting this move as well as YM. So I'm going to give it. This is going to take a few moments to play out here. Let's see if this bar gives us an entry. Okay, so I'm going to try to get long here at 1620 right now. Put that order in. Okay, my order's in. Stop limit. Alright, I'm filled at 1620. Okay, so long the XIV now. Give me 1 moment while I adjust my stops. Alright, so my limit and stop orders are in. So classic early bird setup, and can kind of stalking that trade for a little while now to see how it's going to play out. So right now our stops are at 1603. There's actually an unfilled gap here at 1701 on the XIV. So we had a gap down today on the XIV. So 1701 would be a great target. So let's just draw that in now. 1701 is way up here. Oh, I just drew that. Give me 1 second. 1701. So that would be a really good close to 7-hour trade if it gets up there. But let's just take a step back and let's look at the broader picture for a second. So let's start with the ES and what we saw in the ES this morning. So in the ES this morning, we had that strong gap down, and immediately we saw some buyers stepping in here. As you can, I'll just zoom in, as evidenced by with this strong doji opening outside the Bollinger Bands. My Bollinger Bands are actually set a little bit different than the standard configuration or settings. I actually use a 20 period, which is the standard, but I use 3 standard deviations, so instead of the regular 2. So that really says when price action is outside those Bollinger Bands, that's quite abnormal. Not saying that it could not run further past the Bollinger Bands, but 3 standard deviations is pretty far out. So usually what happens with price action like this, you have a strong gap down. Price can do one of 3 things. Either A, it continues, right? It breaks the lows of the opening bar and it just rushes down. B, it consolidates sideways, so to work out that oversold condition, it needs to consolidate. Or C, it could actually pull back and perhaps to some sort of area of resistance for further consolidation, or perhaps just a V-turn kind of move where it just bounces up. So that's what we see in the ES. The ES actually found it on the lower time frame chart. It found some of that support that we talked about in terms of this kind of trend line. We see kind of some lower highs being created here. We saw some productive volume stepping in above these opening range highs. And on the XIV, back to our position again, on the higher time frame chart for a second, exact same condition, right? First thing in the morning, we got this doji pattern. That means indecision. People are unable to actually push it any further, up or down. And then, usually the market here shows its hand a bit by the battle of who wins that doji pattern, right? So if buyers can break above the highs of the doji, generally that means we have some more strength on the buyer side. So this position's already moved to close to plus 1R. So once it hits plus 1R, I'm going to trail to minus 1R. And there it is. It's hit 1631. Oh, that's the ask right now. Actually, no, it did hit 1631. I'm going to adjust my stops here now, just to minimize my risk, to 1607. Using my classic 2-2-1 trailing stop approach. And let's just stay in management mode from here. Okay, 9:57. Alright, 1022. Probably going to get stopped out of our XIV position here. You know, the higher lows that we talked about with now broken down on the ES. Likewise on the XIV, it's broken down. You know, we had that series of higher lows, and that little noise there is my stop getting hit on the XIV. So out for +1 on that one. Missed a couple of trades here that went too fast to grab. So one was HDP, and that guy there I was eyeballing, and just it moved a little bit too fast, and we could have caught it moved up to +2R, and then it came back, and that would have been a +1 winner on that one, but it just moved a bit too fast for us to grab that one today. So at this point here, we're gonna wait and reset. You know, just back to the broader market for a second. The ES came up, you know, got stuck at its opening range high, formed a doji pattern there, so we had some indecision. And you know, once, as we said before, if the lows of these dojis get taken out, that means, or whichever opposites get taken out, that means either the buyers or sellers are in control. So the sellers were able to close below that doji, and now the sellers are back in control again. So we'll wait to see if it's an extension move, if we get back to the opening lows. And then we'll reset and look for other opportunities. It is 1023. Okay, 1027, another quick update. Went long UGLD, so it's a 3 times long gold ETF. Saw some volume picking up on it, and seeing the gold stocks begin to rally here as the market, as the broader market begins to soften up. So long UGold now at 1168. Interesting day so far. You know, here's the ES. As you know, we got stuffed out of our XIV. Means that I think the sellers have taken control. So we see some push back to the downside. Again, when one scenario fails, another scenario opens up. So looking to see how the gold stocks respond. And the gold stocks right now are you know, they popped up for the day, so let's see how they react to the broader market declining. Let's see if investors are looking to get long gold and in gold names, as I see a number of names kind of just popping up recently on my watch list. Take a look at HMY here, right? So HMY, Harmony Gold Mining. So look at that pop, right? We had a good, sorry, this is actually a 2-minute chart. I want to look at our higher time frame, and that's pretty apparent too, right? We had some good consolidation on the higher time frame, the 50-minute chart, followed by a big breakout. This is a classic opening range break play. Look on the 2-minute chart. You know, there we go. We had this big consolidation period, and then bam, we had this big breakout of that. So that's a decent setup as well. Okay, but I'm getting long physical gold, UGLD. Okay, 1029. Another quick update, 1041. Market is slowly trying to get back to the lows of the day. Kind of as we mentioned before, you know, once this low was taken out here on this doji, the sellers are back in control. If we jump down a time frame, you'll see, you know, we had this ascending trend line, and that was, as I said, was productive. But once that trend line got taken out, that little ding there means our UGold trade is working in our favor now. Excuse all the dings, as my alerts are popping up everywhere. Once this trend line was taken out, and you know, we can see here the momentum picked up. And don't forget, you know, momentum always precedes price, right? So we had a strong run of momentum, means a strong push down with velocity. We have a pull back to a trend line, and you know, we have a lot of people getting stopped out in these areas. And that's what creates the momentum. So, you know, we expect this thing to continue to drift downwards here. We have this trend line pointing down, so as long as that maintains its trajectory, you know, the path of least resistance is down. Our UGold trade, let's just go back to our UGold trade here. Oops, excuse that. We're now +1R on the UGold. We have a lot of, you know, white space, so I think there's a lot of possibility it runs higher. It's not a great looking chart, to be honest. Like, I'm not enamored with it. I don't like that's a, you know, strong red bar there, but the fact that we've now closed above it is productive. We're holding above the opening range highs. The fact the market's kind of drifting lower is kind of productive for this trade. I'm not in love with it, so I'm just gonna continue to trail my stops as part of my plan and see where it takes us. So no clear no clear favoritism here. Let's just see where it goes. I do like to see that there's volume picking up here, but again, I'm not looking for things, I'm just trying to steer clear from confirmation bias and looking for things that are gonna, confirm my opinion. You just simply manage a trade now that we're in it, and remain in risk management mode. Okay, 10:43. I do want to show one final chart. We did pop up the HMY setup. I just want to quickly take a look at that quickly before we pause the video again. HMY, that guy popped, right? So that was a good opportunity here to get long. Ran up 3R, since pulled back down. So again, it's still on its uptrend, but we need to see how it acts in these levels. Again, there's a difference between going long the gold miners versus going long the physical gold. So let's see which one is more in play today. Okay, so 10:44. 11:03. Quick update. We got stopped out on our U gold position for our +1R. So basically we're par today. We lost -1 on the XIV trade this morning. Just gained +1 on the on the U gold, plus a bit of slippage. And now looking for other opportunities. So it's a little bit of a tricky market today, because anytime you gap down like this, it takes a while for things to kind of settle out. And the ES is going back to its lows. As we can see here, it's closing in on the lows of the day, but it's getting choppier. It's not like a straight line. It's actually sort of a drift lower with a lot of chop. So I think that's chopping up a lot of people. As people are getting, they're going short, long, short, long. So it's kind of a choppy day right now. So not a smooth trending day, the kind of days that I like. And so what we're seeing here today is, we have, the higher time frame looks okay, but certainly it's not like a straight smooth trajectory. It's very up and down as it bounces. Further down, then it has to come back and find some resistance again, and then back to to the downside. So this moment here, it's still going down slowly, but the next level we need to be looking at here is around the 1813 level to see if there's enough sellers to push it through there, because we need to watch to see if there's any buyers stepping in. So the gold trade actually turned out to be okay, but it actually turns out that the gold miners actually turned out to be the better buy today. I went long on physical gold, but look at something like KGC. Look at that pop there on KGC. It's really moving now. We had a signal here at 10:49, which I did not take because I was already long gold. I didn't want to put on another gold position and get too much exposure in gold. So that one has moved quickly and nicely. So that's a plus, close to +3R move there in a pretty quick order. So that's the way things break sometimes. Let's just keep on watching and see what other opportunities show up. 11:05. All right, so 11:19. Feels like I'm late to the party today. Just went long GDXJ. I got stopped out of my U gold position before, and that quickly reversed and kept on its way. I've been trying to get refilled on it again, but couldn't quite get filled on a good spot. So I've been looking for other gold plays instead of going long physical gold, as those chart patterns seem to be a little choppier. Been looking at gold stocks, and instead of going the individual names, I've looked at looking at GDXJ, which is the Junior Gold Miners ETF. So right now I'm long 2388 on the GDXJ. It's already up close to it's coming up on +1R on this trade. Sorry, +2R. So gold's moving higher pretty quickly. So now I'm going to start to manage my stops here. But just a brief update on the ES. ES touched its intraday lows. We talked about once it found resistance here at the opening range high and this 5-period moving average, it's been kind of going slowly and drifting down slowly. the VIX popped up nicely. I was watching that trade and did not take it for the sole reason that you can see what happens here. I just wasn't seeing the volume accompanying the trade. This is why I kind of stayed clear of it. So, you know, I had the opportunity going long right here. Did not see the volume. So this would have worked out, right? So I would have captured, this trade I would have captured at least plus 2R. But the fact that, you know, you can see that there's a quick reversal here, it's just there isn't a lot of conviction. So even though this trade would have worked out for me, I decided not to go for it. And I elected not to do that because I didn't see the volume confirming that. So those are my rules anyways. You know, that would have worked out in my favor. But, you know, over time I've realized that those setups are not that positive for me. So I want to kind of see the volume also stepping up. So back to the U gold position, which is hanging in there. So I just want to show that position one more time. You know, we got long here, down here at the 1168, went plus 2 in our favor, came back and stopped us out right at the tick here, 1175. That's where we got stopped out right there, and then it shot back up again, right? So had we still been long U gold, it got up to about as high as plus 3R for us. So unfortunately, it's the break sometimes, right? We got stopped out right on the tick, on the low tick there. That's the way it is. You know, there's different various trailing strategies you can use, but that's the trading approach that I've elected to use. And again, there's no right way. It's simply a matter of trade-offs. So it's it depends on how you want to manage the volatility of your P&L. Okay, so 1122. Good lessons today. Another quick update on GDXJ. Now it's really accelerating. So you can see here now we're up plus 4R on GDXJ. So volume is picking up. So we got long at the right time, getting close to plus 5R. Once it hits 2406, which I think it will shortly, I'm going to trail my stop to plus 4R. So the least we can stand to make is plus 4R on this GDXJ. There we go. It's up plus 5R now. Now I will adjust my stop to 2402. 2402. 2402. Okay. And if it hits 2410, we'll trail to plus 5R. So the market is breaking down now. You know, everyone's diving into gold stocks for safety. We see the ES, you know, on the left-hand side here. You know, we see this this decline. It broke below its 30-minute opening range, which is very bearish. So a logical price extension now is this 1795 area, and you know, this is your classic consolidate, you know, gap down and go day, right? So I like to see it consolidate some more, but you know, I don't think we've seen the selling really stop yet. I think there's still a lot of room for the sellers to get involved here, because some of the levels of support have now melted away. On the VIX especially, you know, the VIX has an unfilled gap at 3069. So at the minimum, you know, I could expect we can expect that some people are going to try to push this guy to go for that gap fill. Now back to our GDXJ position. GDXJ. Alright, so you know, look at this beautiful setup on GDXJ, right? Opening range break play on the 15-minute chart. This is what I mean by confluence. Now on the shorter time frame, we're now up plus 6R on the GDXJ. I'm going to lock in plus 5, so move my stop to 2406. And that's all it takes, right? Sometimes it's just, you know, you had some losers today, or had a loss on XIV in the beginning of the day. I only got 1R on, now look, it's really moving. Only got 1R on the, I need to adjust my stop here, 2410 now, we're at plus 6R at the minimum. Okay, let's trail that aggressively. Okay, so we're going to capture plus 6R on this trade at a minimum. So as I was saying, that you know, sometimes that's the breaks, right? So we had to go through some chop in the beginning there. Now we're at plus 8R, so we're going to lock in. Let's go and continue to move. This is when it gets fun, right? So GDXJ, we got to start getting into our order management mode there. We're going to lock in plus 7R. Alright, let's keep watching it. Let's also watch the VIX, as the VIX is also continuing to climb up. 11:33. Alright, quick update. So that was fun. So got out for plus 9R in that trade. Got filled at 24.21. This thing actually went parabolic, and I actually had a hard time getting my order filled there and getting my order entry in. So I could have trailed that more aggressively up here, but it moved really fast. And I had a bit of a fat finger issue there. So it is, you know, it is how it is. We did our best to manage that trade. And so we got out for plus 9R. So that's a very good trade. So, you know, this is certainly a great day today. Trading. We had I'm still watching the markets here as it's you know, we're finding a bit of support at this time down here. You know, we're seeing some buyers step in, but I don't know if we've seen the flush yet. So I'm still waiting. Maybe we need to consolidate a little bit, but I haven't seen the flush that I want to see yet. So I think sellers are still going to step in here because the gap on the VIX is still there. So, you know, I'm out of my gold positions now. But those really worked in our favor nicely. Just on the GDXG there, GDXJ. Just review that trade again on the higher time frame. Actually, one thing I want to show quickly is the U-Gold. You know, this one worked out as well, right? So we were longs earlier. Unfortunately, we got stopped out. This one really moved in our favor. You know, had we not gotten stopped out by one tick there, it went close to plus 7R. So we had the direction right on a lot of these trades. Unfortunately, or on this trade, unfortunately, we just could not get hang on to that position, which is fine because, you know, we were able to re-enter again on the GDXJ, which turned out to be even a better trade just because the risk to rewards were so low. Right, I was able to get in right on this bar here with my stop right below the opening range. So the risk reward is exceptional. So we caught plus 9R in that trade, which is an exceptional trade. Okay, and let's just keep watching. 11:39. Interesting day so far.